When we think of 1970s America, we imagine something warm, analog, a world of vinyl records, wide collars, muscle cars, and wood-paneled living rooms. But beneath that image was something far colder. The 1970s produced an unusually high number of unsolved serial murders, cases that remain open even today. For decades, these crimes have been explained in the same way. The killers were geniuses, untraceable, ahead of their time, or the technology simply wasn't there. But that explanation is incomplete, because when we look closer, the real story isn't about brilliant killers, it's about broken systems. To understand why these cases went unsolved, we have to examine the moments where institutions failed, where human error met bias and collided with power. San Francisco, October 1969. A 29-year-old taxi driver, Paul Stein, is shot and killed in his cab. Two teenagers witness everything. They call the police immediately. Their description is precise: a stocky white male wearing a dark jacket. But somewhere between the call and the officers on the street, the message changes. The suspect is broadcast as a black male. Minutes later, two officers pass a man who matches the original description exactly. Stocky, white, walking calmly away. They let him go, because they were looking for someone else. Quiet, chilling. That man was almost certainly the Zodiac Killer. One communication error, no verification, no redundancy, and a killer vanished. 5 years later, San Francisco faces another killer. Between 1974 and 1975, a man known as the Doodler targets gay men. At least 14 are murdered. 3 survive. They see his face. They can identify him. But they refuse to testify. Because in the 1970s, being publicly identified as gay could destroy your life. Careers ended. Families rejected you. Society turned against you. So they chose silence, not because they didn't want justice, but because the cost was too high, and the case went cold. At the same time, Washington, D.C. is facing its own crisis. 6 young black girls are abducted and murdered, their bodies left along highways. The killer becomes known as the Freeway Phantom. Chilling detail. One victim, Brenda Woodard, is forced to write a note to the police before she is killed. Pauscht. Despite this, the investigation struggles. Agencies clash. Jurisdiction slows progress. Firm tone. Civil rights groups begin asking, would this case be handled differently if the victims were white? The pattern becomes clear. The Doodler, the Freeway Phantom, different crimes, different cities, same outcome. The victims belong to groups society did not fully protect, and the system responded accordingly. Now consider another case. Oakland County, Michigan. 4 white middle-class children are abducted and murdered. This time, everything changes. Massive media coverage, full police mobilization. The system reacts immediately. Pauscht. Unsettling detail. One victim, Timothy King, loved fried chicken. His mother said it on television. The autopsy later reveals the killer fed him that meal before killing him. Quiet. He was watching. Investigators identify a suspect, Christopher Bush. He is questioned, then released. Pauscht. Not because there was no suspicion, but because of who he was. Wealthy, connected, protected.
He dies by suicide in 1978, and the case remains open. In New York, the alphabet murders leave behind something crucial: evidence, DNA. For decades, it sits untouched. Modern shift. Today, investigators have new tools: genetic genealogy. Instead of matching DNA directly, they trace family connections, building entire family trees to identify one person. This method led to the arrest of Joseph James DeAngelo in 2018, a case that remained unsolved for over 40 years. Slow, reflective tone. The science exists. The evidence exists. What's missing is action, funding, priority, accountability. Pauscht. A system cannot erase its past failures, but it can choose to correct them. It's time to reopen the